On April 20th, 2008, Brazilian television captured a sight that seemed almost magical. A Catholic priest drifting into the sky, lifted by over 1,000 colorful helium balloons tied to a simple chair. At first glance, it looked whimsical, almost like something out of a movie. But as viewers soon realized, this broadcast would become one of the most haunting and disturbing moments ever shown on live TV.
Acontece o seguinte, nós temos um segredinho ali que é no negócio de vedação do balão. Nós vimos porque vai, vamos pegar o que tiver na clipezinho, né?
Eu vi no final de amarrar.
Tira lá e abre o filme.
Um negocinho parece lá, isso.
Lá na frente já tem.
The man was Father Adelier Antonio de Carli, a priest with a reputation for bold, unconventional acts of faith. Known for standing up to city officials, leading protests, and helping anyone in need, Father de Carli was no stranger to risk. His latest mission? Raising money to build a roadside chapel where truck drivers could rest, pray, and find spiritual guidance.
Acontece o seguinte, nós temos um segredinho ali que é no negócio de vedação do balão. Nós vimos porque vai, vamos pegar o que tiver na
clipezinho, né? Eu vi no final de amarrar.
Tira lá e abre o filme.
Um negocinho parece lá, isso.
Lá na frente já tem evoluído.
Tira mais. Não, se o senhor achar que não deve mostrar, não tem problema não. Pra nós não tem. Não vamos revelar nenhum segredo.
His plan was ambitious: to break a world record by floating for 19 hours with helium balloons. The stunt, he believed, would bring publicity and donations. But there was a problem. His paragliding instructors had already expelled him from training, calling him undisciplined and inexperienced. Still, nothing could stop him.
Final de amarrar.
Tira lá e abre o filme.
Um negocinho parece lá, isso.
Lá na frente já tem evoluído.
Tira mais. Não, se o senhor achar que não deve mostrar, não tem problema não. Pra nós não tem.
As cameras rolled, Father de Carli rose gracefully into the sky. But within hours, the dream turned into a nightmare. Strong winds pushed him far off course, away from the city of Dorados, and out over the open Atlantic. He soared nearly 19,000 feet into freezing air, then plummeted back down to 8,000 feet in minutes. Using a satellite phone, he contacted his support team, pleading for help to operate his GPS. It was his last known transmission. For days, the Brazilian Navy and Air Force scoured the seas. TV stations gave constant updates, the nation praying for a miracle. Balloons were later spotted floating in the ocean, but no sign of the priest. 3 months later, tugboat workers made a grim discovery. A body was found off the southeastern coast of Brazil. DNA confirmed the unthinkable. Father de Carli had perished at sea. To some, he was a hero who sacrificed for a cause. To others, he was reckless and unprepared. But one fact remains undeniable. Millions watched as a priest floated toward the heavens on live TV, never to return. The European Poker Tour is the biggest poker tournament on the planet, where the best gamblers battle for life-changing cash. But in March 2010, during the Berlin leg of the event, the game turned into something far more terrifying. A robbery broadcast live on TV.
Okay, well maybe next time.
Maybe.
Are you going to play in Snowfest?
No.
San Remo?
Probably in San Remo.
Oh, well, there you go then. You can take it down.
That year's grand prize? $1.36 million. Thousands of players gathered inside a luxury Berlin hotel ballroom. Cameras streamed every tense moment online and on television. But at 2:15 p.m., The game was interrupted by 4 masked men bursting into the room, shouting a single word: robbery! They weren't there for chips. Their target was the bags of cash stacked at the registration desk. Armed with weapons, including a machete, they shoved past players, sending screams across the ballroom.
I like the
Chaos erupted. Some players ducked under tables. Security tried to intervene, but it was like a clumsy chase scene. In the end, the robbers escaped, carrying away roughly $250,000. And the entire heist captured live on international broadcast. But as shocking as the robbery looked, their mistakes made it even more bizarre. One of the robbers had actually played in the tournament before the heist, using his registration to scout the building. Another practically left a trail for police, and just days later, one panicked and turned himself in. Even worse, he immediately ratted out the others.
Mit ungeheurer Brutalität gehen die maskierten Täter vor, bewaffnet mit Macheten und Pistolen. Sie agieren schnell. In weniger als einer Minute spielt sich das Drama ab. Nach Informationen von Spiegel Online müssen sie einen Tipp bekommen haben, denn am Anmeldecounter liegt genau zu diesem Zeitpunkt eine größere Summe Geld, kurz bevor es in den Haupttresor geschafft werden sollte. Doch die Sicherheitsmänner, obwohl unbewaffnet, nehmen den Kampf auf. Vor allem einer lässt sich nicht einschüchtern. Es gelingt ihm, einen der Gangster niederzuringen. Deutlich sieht man auf dem Foto die Waffe und die Tasche mit den Geldbündeln. Hier.
Within 2 weeks, all 4 were arrested. In 2011, they were sentenced to between 3 to 6 years in prison. But the stolen cash was never recovered.
Draußen im Foyer wird immer noch gekämpft. Der mutige Security-Mann wird von einem weiteren Gangster bedroht. Ein Messer fliegt. Der Mann mit dem roten Pulli kann sich befreien und greift sich auch wieder die Waffe, die er im Gerangel verloren hatte. Und dann ist auch schon alles vorbei. Lob für das beherzte Eingreifen der Security von der Polizei.
A daring heist streamed live across the world. But instead of legendary criminals, the Berlin poker robbers became a cautionary tale in recklessness. And as one viewer later commented, crazy insane and caught on live TV. On May 17th, 1995, San Diego was thrown into chaos when a man named Sean Nelson stole a tank and drove it straight into the heart of the city. Sean had once served in the military, which meant he knew exactly how to operate the M60A3 Patton tank he found inside the National Guard Armory. By the time anyone tried to stop him, it was too late. He rumbled through the gates and onto city streets, a 58-ton war machine at 30 miles per hour. Cars flattened, utility poles snapped, fire hydrants burst into geysers. At one point, Sean even tried to collapse a highway bridge by slamming into its supports. The tank carried no ammunition, but it didn't need it. The destruction was already devastating. More than 5,000 people lost power, and the streets looked like a battlefield. Police swarmed in cars and helicopters, but chasing him wasn't enough. TV stations cut into regular programming, broadcasting the rampage live to horrified viewers across the nation. 25 minutes, San Diego was held hostage to one man's breakdown. Eventually, the tank stalled on State Route 163. Police climbed aboard, used bolt cutters to break into the hatch, and ordered Sean to surrender. He refused. Believing he might be armed, officers opened fire. Sean was killed instantly. The next morning, the aftermath looked like a war zone. At least 40 cars destroyed. Damage running into the hundreds of thousands. Sean's story was one of desperation. A man battling emotional and financial struggles who reached a tragic breaking point. It was disturbing television not just for the destruction, but because it revealed something deeper, how quickly a man's pain can spill out into the world. Comment. And as one viewer later remarked, imagine being a tourist to America, and this is the first thing you see. On June 14th, 2014, a frantic search began in Detroit. A boy named Charlie Bothwell, only 12 years old, had vanished without a trace. Neighbors knocked on doors. Flyers went up across the city. Police scoured the home with cadaver dogs. But after 11 days, there was still no sign of him. Charlie's father, Charles, went on national TV, pleading for his son's safe return. But during a live interview on Nancy Grace, the story took a disturbing turn. Midway through the interview, Grace interrupted. "We are getting reports that your son has been found in your basement."
The father of the missing 12-year-old boy, Charlie, with me is his father, Charlie Bothell. Charlie, we're getting reports that your son has been found in your basement. Sir? Mr. Bothell, are you...
What?
Yeah, we are getting reports that your son has been found alive in your basement.
What?
Yes, that's what... If you could hand me that wire very quickly. Yeah, we're getting that right now from yeah. How could your son be alive in your basement?
Oh shit. I have no idea.
For several seconds, Charles froze. Shocked. Or at least he appeared shocked. His reaction went viral. Millions asked the same question. How do you lose your child in your own basement? Charles denied knowing anything, even offering to take a lie detector test on live television. But investigators soon revealed the horrifying truth.
Now, this is just a report that we are hearing out of Detroit that we're trying to confirm. Everybody in New York, please get on it. Let me know when we get Charlie Langton from WWJ. Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement, the FBI checked my basement, the Detroit police checked my basement, my wife checked my basement. I've been down there several times. We've all been checking. How?
Okay, this is what we are hearing, that the missing 12-year-old boy has been found alive and well in his father's basement. Now, this is what I don't understand why you guys would have reported he's missing. And all our viewers have been on the...
Police had found Charlie hiding behind a pile of boxes in the basement. When they asked why, he explained that his stepmother ordered him to stay there, no matter what noises he heard upstairs. And immediately after locking him away, she phoned his father to report him missing. Charlie's own words painted a bleak picture. Abuse, mistreatment, and a staged disappearance.
The father, who is now doing a show on Nancy Grace, that someone would interrupt the show and advise him that the location you just left your home. Your son was downstairs.
Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement. The FBI checked my basement. The Detroit police checked my basement. God, they brought dogs, everything. Everybody is searched. What? Okay, my son.
We found him barricaded in the basement behind boxes and a large 5-gallon drum.
Here's Dad. Here's Dad. Here's the dad.
Did you know that he was in the basement?
Man, no, I didn't know that he was in the basement.
The focus really goes.
Charles and his wife were arrested. In court, young Charlie bravely testified against them both. His father eventually struck a plea deal in 2016, avoiding prison but losing custody of his son. His stepmother took a deal too.
On the blood found both in the boys' room and on the kids' clothes that were inside the townhouse. But also the police found a PVC pipe that the police may believe was used as a weapon of some kind.
Man, they thought my son was...
What began as a missing child case turned into one of the most disturbing live TV moments in history. A desperate plea, interrupted by the revelation that the missing boy had been home all along, trapped just beneath their feet. In June 2011, the city of Macon, Georgia, was shaken by the disappearance of Lauren Giddings, a young law school graduate just weeks away from becoming a lawyer. When she stopped answering calls, her friends rushed her apartment. The door was locked, no sign of her inside. That's when her quiet, awkward neighbor, Stephen McDaniel, appeared.
WGXA first interviewed McDaniel the day after Lauren Giddings was reported missing in June of 2011. Reporter Michelle Casada found him standing outside the apartment building where he and Giddings had lived, and that we now know was the scene of the crime. He talks about joining Giddings' friends to look for his law school classmate and how they entered her apartment to see if there was anything wrong. It was also the first time McDaniel found out that a portion of Lauren Giddings' body had been recovered by police from the dumpster where he had put it. Knowing now that...
At first, Stephen seemed concerned, standing outside with her friends, asking questions, even speculating that maybe Lauren went out for a jog and someone snatched her. But the truth was far darker. Soon after, police discovered Lauren's body in a trash bin right outside the building. Reporters swarmed the scene, interviewing neighbors to piece together what happened. One of those neighbors was Stephen. He calmly told the reporter, "Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to figure out where she is." But when the reporter mentioned that police had recovered a body nearby, Stephen's face dropped. He froze, then whispered, I think I need to sit down." The moment went viral. What looked like shock to viewers was later revealed to be the exact moment the murderer realized his secret was out.
Yeah, Lauren was my neighbor. We're just trying to find out where she is at this point. I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I mean, the last time anyone heard from her was an email that she sent out, and no one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
I mean, no one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I mean, you always hear noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and I were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
When police searched Stephen's apartment, they found chilling evidence. A stolen master key to the building, photos of Lauren, and a hacksaw covered in her DNA. His old roommate even recalled Stephen fantasizing about committing the perfect murder. Investigators also uncovered a motive. Lauren had rejected Stephen's advances, telling friends he made her uncomfortable.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. I mean, the only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss, but I mean, she had a door jamb that was sitting right by it. So there was no sign that anyone broke in. I mean, the door was locked when everyone got here.
In August 2011, Stephen was arrested and charged with murder. He held out for years, but with the evidence stacked against him, he finally took a plea deal in 2014. He was sentenced to life in prison, eligible for parole in 2041. Stephen McDaniel will forever be remembered not just for his crime, but for his eerie appearance on live TV. An interview where the mask of innocence slipped in real time.
Now, things really didn't pick up until later in the afternoon as McDaniel began questioning his former attorney, Floyd Buford. And McDaniel decided to waive his attorney-client privilege, meaning that Buford had the ability to speak freely regarding his discussions with Stephen McDaniel. Buford,
as one viewer chillingly put it, you can tell he's a true criminal mastermind based on the way he hid her body 100 feet from his doorstep. August 1987. Viewers tuning into KBC's afternoon news expected nothing more than the usual consumer report. But what they got instead was one of the most disturbing live broadcasts ever aired, a hostage situation unfolding in real time. Reporter David Horowitz was just beginning his segment when a man suddenly stepped out of the shadows. It was 34-year-old Gary Stolman. He walked directly behind Horowitz, holding what appeared to be a gun, and handed him a note.
And tonight, security is being beefed up at KNVC after a gunman walked into our news studio right here this afternoon and on live television at gunpoint ordered consumer reporter David Horowitz to read a message live on television. Nobody was hurt. That gunman is in police custody tonight. And Jess's cover story takes a look at what hundreds of thousands of Shock Channel 4 news viewers watched on television on the 4 o'clock news. Jess?
Kelly? The man who had been permitted to watch the broadcast in the studio had given no indication of his intent. He had been sitting...
Horowitz froze. Thousands of viewers saw the confusion on his face as he read aloud. Folks, we have someone on the set who would like me to read this copy. The note was filled with wild conspiracy theories. Claims about the CIA replacing people with clones and aliens living among us. On live television, with the barrel of a gun pressed to his back, Horowitz had no choice but to read every word.
Because, you know, one of the nicest things about shopping by mail order... Pardon me? What is this? Let me see what it says. All right.
He's got a gun to his back.
All right, well, let me read this. Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read this copy which was just handed to me. You want to tell me your name or not? What is it? And Gary, where are you from?
At that point, the control room was ordered to go to black, kill the studio mics, and put up a standby slide. But Horowitz continued to read, and the gunman kept the gun in his back.
I was warned in 1981 by someone with connections at the CIA to stay off the computers, that they didn't trust people on computers. When I began receiving disturbing calls from my parents, which led me to believe that something terrible...
Behind the cameras, producers were panicking. After 28 tense seconds, they cut the broadcast and switched to commercials. But Horowitz kept reading for nearly 7 minutes, unaware the feed had been pulled. Finally, when the last line was spoken, Stolman calmly placed the gun on the desk. Anchor John Beard snatched it away, and police rushed the set.
Hospital in Tallahassee, where I learned that my brother-in-law had been driven insane in the same manner that someone was trying to do to me.
The gun was a precise replica, and police, who by then had entered the facilities, made plans to deal with the situation. But when the statement had been read, the gunman placed the gun on the desk, and anchorman John Beard grabbed it. Burbank police wrestled the man to the floor. He has been identified as Gary Stolman, and he said he never intended to harm anyone. Indeed, the gun proved a fake. But Stolman may still face a variety of charges. He is the son of pharmacist Max Stolman, a former member of the Channel 4 news team reporting on medicine and related issues. Max Stolman said, "I do have a sick son. He has been hospitalized a number of times. I am thankful he wasn't killed." At a news conference this evening, Horowitz, who appeared to maintain his calm throughout the ordeal...
The weapon wasn't real. It was a toy. And the hostage taker, Gary Stolman, a man battling severe mental illness. His father later confirmed Gary had been hospitalized multiple times, describing him as a sick son in desperate need of help. Instead of prison, Gary was given 3 years probation and ordered into psychiatric care. Thankfully, no one was physically harmed that day. But for everyone watching, those long minutes of fear left a permanent scar in broadcast history.
Situations, and I've been in Vietnam, and I know that when someone points a gun at you, you do what they tell you to do and hope that someone's going to save you. You're thinking about your wife and your kids and your family, and you say, what am I doing here? Why is this happening to me? And you just try to maintain as much cool as you possibly can, because I realize that if you do anything out of course, as far as this person's concerned, I don't know whether the guy was a terrorist or a wacko or somebody that was trying to get even for something. You don't know who's there.
News Director Tom Capra explained his order to pull the plug.
Is that we cannot allow people with guns or weapons.
Sometimes live TV captures moments of joy. Other times, it captures raw terror. The kind that makes you wonder what's real and what might happen next time the cameras start rolling.